Hey, 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 and welcome to Hey, 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 and welcome to Terri Messenger's Genius Zone. And, this is the place and the space where you are going to get your own free masterclass absolutely free.
The whole thing is money and power. Okay. So, in the case of, there's just so many different places you can go. So to give you that example, right, the video of my ex-wife creating fake evidence that caused me to be arrested, right, on a Sunday and dragged into
so you've had the same thing.
But yeah.
So there you go. There you go,
right?
Mark. You're not alone.
Absolutely, mate.
Well,
I know you already
who can actually talk? Because with what's going on in my world right now, people out there who know me might go, well, Terri, how on earth did you manifest that? And, we did go back a few shows ago. We talked about, it's not just about what we do want, but it's about what we don't want.
Often.
And you'll find that most of our questions that have come in are about what people don't want. So simply, it's because energy goes where attention flows.
It's quite a statement. Oh, it's live indeed. It's Edge Radio Australia. Time for the Genius Zone. Bit of a false start, but we like to build up the anticipation, don't we, around here?
Oh, my God.
Hey, got Terri Messenger by my right-hand side. We're going to get into quite a show today. And I just actually want to take this very quick little opportunity to tell you a little something. Geez, I'm getting a lot of comments about this show. My word.
I tell you what, saved by the bell, because I think you would have fired me today after what just happened.
Oh, look, it couldn't possibly be your fault. It's got to be the computer. No way. Okay?
I'll go with that.
I'll just fail to accept that it's anyone else but the computer with no personality. No. But I want to tell you something very quickly as we sort of get into the show. The amount of people that are coming up and sort of asking and talking about the show, it's really interesting to see, and it's great to see the engagement. I got stopped in all places in a jazz club on Friday night or whatever it was, to talk about the show and talk about all sorts of things, and it was very, very sweet. So yeah, nice to touch base there. So I love that. We love our interaction. So if you've got any questions, obviously jump onto the old, you can do it through Facebook, you can do it through here, the page, and away we go. This is Edge Radio Australia. We love being interactive. Now, enough of my yapping. What is today's show all about?
First of all, did you know that I danced in a jazz club 2 years ago?
No, I'm so not surprised.
Actually, 18 months ago.
18 months ago. All right.
One of those fancy girls, Moulin Rouge.
Oh, right. A bit of burlesque.
A little bit of burlesque, a little bit of leotard, fishnet stockings, high heel shoes. And I made the dreaded mistake of asking some of my clients along as a coach.
Yeah.
And I think they came just for the shock of, is she really going to do this? But I did it. So today's show, Aaron, is the art of manifestation. Reason being is because everything is about manifestation. So I figured that if we use that as our headline today, we could really bring up some great conversation.
Oh, okay, I'm all for that. Love a good conversation, right? Well, let me go further then. I'm very not surprised with the fact that you went out there and did that. I have actually previously dated a burlesque dancer. Highly recommended. We'll tell you that. Good fun. It's just a great thing. It wasn't something I was into, but I'll tell you right now, it is a really fun sort of world.
It is a fun
Yeah.
world, but you don't know what it's like backstage.
No, I do not.
You know,
No.
with all the women and things like that. And, you know, the key person that
Yep.
was, you know, the main star of the show.
Yep.
Oh, she was yelling and screaming.
Oh, I can imagine.
And getting so fired up. And I'm just standing there going, is this really what happens? But I guess they're all working on what was happening just before we hit live on the show.
Well,
Adrenaline.
adrenaline is good stuff. And you are manifesting that show, right? That's what you're putting together. You're making it happen. So
Yeah.
it kind of fits in with what we're doing today. Now, you've got some great questions that have come in. They're long ones today. I noticed that. Jeez.
You
And I
know?
haven't got the glasses on and will never have the glasses on. It's called vanity. But we'll jump into them in just a bit. But before we do, just want to give us a bit of a run through what we're going to be talking about today.
Well,
I know you already
who
had
can
started, but-
actually talk? Because with what's going on in my world right now,
Mhm.
people out there who know me might go, well, Terri, how on earth did you manifest that? And, you know, we did go back a few shows ago. We talked about, you know, it's not just about what we do want, but it's about what we don't want.
Often.
And you'll find that most of our questions that have come in are about what people don't want. So simply, it's because energy goes where attention flows.
It's quite a statement. Yeah, but it's true. Okay, you know, and people have a propensity to follow drama, right? Okay. And
We love
sometimes
drama.
We do. I mean, we watch drama shows on TV.
Mhm.
I don't watch TV anymore, but I used to.
Yes.
You know, we do like it. I mean, when life's sort of sailing along, doing very nicely, some of
It's
us might get
boring.
a bit bored. Yeah, just a
It's
bit bored.
boring. It's
Yeah.
boring. I mean, have you ever gone to a movie where everything's just roses and butterflies and sweet and happy days, and then that's all it is all the way through? Or, you
Mhm.
know, do you go to a movie where there's always, it might start off a little bit rainbows and butterflies,
Sure.
but there's always a huge punchline.
Of course there is.
You know, there's always something where that star has to come through and,
look.
you know, save the day. Superman, Wonder Woman, you know,
What
all
do you
that
want? Do you
kind
want
of
to watch
jazz.
Cocoon or Die Hard? I mean, come on, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you want a bit of
Exactly.
action. So, okay, very, very cool. Well, shall we jump into the questions? Is that what you would like
Yeah,
to do?
look,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right,
Yes.
now we've got a question here from Paul. G'day, Paul. He says, my name is Paul from WA. The whole title, you like to be called Paul from WA? That's nice. I like that. Now, he's a tradie, so no one laughed. No one laughed. It's just a bad dad joke. Okay.
Sorry, Aaron.
I was hanging there. You left me hanging.
I just
No. Now, I've had some bad issues with clients not paying for my work, which has made me anxious
Ooh.
when I'm quoting for new clients. Completely understand that feeling. Right? Okay, now this worry is affecting my confidence, and I'm afraid I'm turning clients away. And that's a very good point there. Okay, what can I do to establish trust and realize, or rather release, this painful anxiety I have around my job, because I do actually love it.
Well, I guess it's a little bit like if you're a tradie, you've probably found that you've had those clients. If you've seen enough people, you're no doubt going to have those clients that are going to be a pain in the butt, right? You know,
life.
it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you've had some really nasty experiences, so I'm going to sort of flip it a little bit here and say that I have had situations where tradies have come out, charged money, we've paid the full amount, and they've done a runner.
Yep, it happens.
And, you know, and for me, I understand that there's this little bit of a fear about it, like, oh my gosh, what if that happens again? So the moment that we go to pay another tradie, there's always, what if?
Yeah.
So see, what happens is our subconscious mind is not based on the future, it's based on the past, because we've talked about this before. It doesn't know what it doesn't know.
That's true.
So if it's replaying this story of, oh my gosh, remember that time that client ripped you off, or remember that time when you got ripped off, that is going to come forward in your energy. You're going to end up attracting it. And that's precisely what you do not want to do. So it's almost like a self-fulfilled prophecy. And the way to avoid it is to tell yourself, that was the past. This is the future. That was just an old story, and you can put it on the shelf. And it is a new day. You're not going to have the same client. And if you're working with a practitioner, if you are working with someone who deals with the subconscious, because I was away in Melbourne over the weekend.
You were just living it
And
up.
oh, yeah, right. It was great, actually. We did Blues Brothers and everything. But, you know, I got to hear a lot of different people. And you know something, just as a side note, they had breakout rooms, Aaron.
And what's a breakout room?
So in a breakout room, you've got, you know, people look at the topics and the speaker and they choose where to go. And it's a well-known fact that nobody wants to be up against Anthony Robbins, you know. I mean, who would want to be up against, you know, and people will say, I don't want to be in the other room while they're, you know, because no monkey's going to turn up sort of thing. And I was up against a stage hypnotist. Now, how good are they? Like, if you've seen the Darren Browns of the world, I don't know whether you know Darren Brown, but if you don't, go follow him. He goes out on the street and he does, you know, like practical jokes. Well, like he'll actually get people to give them the watches and their wallets and their life, but he always goes back and gives it back. But he's proving a point. And I was up against a guy that's been around as long as Darren Brown and he's renowned. And I thought, what chance do I have? What chance do I have?
But you've lost before you started when you had that philosophy, right?
Exactly.
You can't do it that way.
And I thought, cruel. Fancy putting me up against him. But guess what?
What's that?
I filled the room.
Nice.
I filled the room.
Look, and this is the thing. People are coming for whatever their specific reasons are, right?
Yeah.
And they might not be, you know, they may need, look, we're all in different sort of modes of life, right? And sometimes you might rather speak to a woman about the issue. You could have two experts, exact same thing, but you might want to speak to a woman, might want to speak to a man. You know, quite frankly, you might be very NLP focused rather than the hypnosis side. So of course you're going to come to your side. So you are preempting yourself. You're sort of, and I think a lot of this obviously comes down to self-confidence. We tend to, let's face it, we all have some sort of issues in that department.
Absolutely.
I don't think I've ever met anybody who hasn't got issues in that department.
Oh, we all have. But you know what, Paul? I didn't let myself go down that slippery slope. I stopped that, oh my gosh, seeing that empty room. I had to stop seeing that empty room and I had to replace it with a full room. And a time when I actually did get a standing ovation. I just kept playing that over and over. But you've got to do the same. You've got to stop that recording because that's all it is. It's just a old video that you're replaying over and over again. And the chances are that you're going to keep on attracting. But, you know, even before I learned NLP and I was in real estate, like my real estate days when I was a young'un. And it's quite funny, actually, because I was the youngest person in Rewa when I started.
Is that right?
And, you know, one of the older guys, he called me up, and this is only a few years ago, and he said, the young Terri, but I was Terri Hawley at the time.
Right.
And he said, the young Terri Hawley. I went, I'm not young anymore and I'm not the same name either. But, you know, I can remember driving down the street and feeling so crap, like I had a bad day. And I was thinking, what am I going to do here? I need to make this sale. I want to be able to close it. These people have been going around with me for ages and ages. So you know what? I started anchoring myself and I didn't even know how to do it. But I started just saying, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And I started banging on the steering wheel. And what I didn't realize is I was actively kind of anchoring myself by banging on the steering wheel. I was speaking out loud. And, you know, the one with the most certainty will win. Okay. That's the whole truth. So when I walked in like a, you know, I had
walking like you own the place,
stance about me, and yet there was nothing, you know, pushy about what I did. I just had the stance. So I'm going to suggest that you do that. You go to your clients' homes and you just tell yourself you've got this. See on the other side yourself closing the deal, right? See yourself shaking hands and, I guess that would be my answer.
Agree. And looking at this, the bit about, you know, turning clients away, you are Okay, the energy that you walk in with, people can smell fear. They
Yeah.
really can.
Yeah.
And yeah, by shaking it, by leaving this in the past. And I often use this phrase because, I'll tell you why I often use this phrase, because this phrase changed my life. It had a profound effect on me, and I thought, hey, if it worked on me, it might work on other people, right?
Yeah.
But someone said to me about somebody who had did me over for some money, so I can certainly understand Paul on this one. Did me over for a whole lot of money, a lot. Right, a lot.
Serious? Are we
Serious.
talking like $2,000?
Oh, I wish.
5,000?
So much more.
10,000?
So much more.
20,000?
So much more.
No way.
So much more.
Not 40,000. Okay, we won't go there. All right.
We keep adding zeros.
40,000 and no, I'm out. I'm out.
All right. But where I'm going on this is that it hurt me, and I lived in it, right? And it affected my confidence, right? And somebody said, why are you letting them live rent-free in your head?
Mm-hmm.
And they said to me, they're living their life. They've got this. They ran through their assets of these nice toys and things that they've got to play with. But guess what? They've got these nice toys that they bought with your money. But, okay, they've also, in a lousy marriage, they're not particularly loved, all of that. They've got some real negative stuff going on in their life, right? Why are you letting them live rent-free in your head? And I thought, why am I? That made no sense. Yeah. And when, I joke about the tears, but obviously my life would be different without losing that money. But at the same time, when I actually released that rent, when I said, okay, no worries, you're off you go, you've been evicted, how much better is life?
I love that. You evicted them.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
It makes a difference.
You just dismissed them. Went in there and told them to get out.
Even more unbelievably, and I say this because I don't even believe it myself, but I actually forgave them. I genuinely forgave them.
Wow,
said,
that is powerful.
Well, yeah, but I had to do it for myself, not for them. That was for me to be released from.
The art of forgiveness, though, is big. It's very big.
You've got to do it.
But you do realise the big guys of the world that have made some of the most money have lost the most money.
Yeah. I totally understand that.
How's Elon Musk's campaign, hey? I think it was something like 115 million, but he got $1 billion back.
Yeah.
This is confidence.
He knows how to invest, that chap does, that's for sure. See, a lot of lovely messages coming in. Thank you very much for that. So I can see a message from Mel. Lovely to see you. I cannot read it from here. Now, what does that say there, Terri? Can you get that?
Oh, I haven't got my glasses on.
Oh, look, I can see be in a something state is brilliant for manifestation. I just wish I knew what state that was.
What does it say? Is it actually be?
Be in a...
Oh, be in a state. Got it. Not in Melbourne, not in Sydney.
No state. No.
It's the state of your mind.
Spot on.
Well done.
I wish I could see that. My apologies. Hi to Trish. Fantastic to see you there. Great.
Hey, Trish.
Yes. And is that Anita at the end there?
It is.
Yeah. Lovely to see you as well.
Hello.
Fantastic.
Hello.
Any questions, put them through. We'd really love to answer them. But it's great to have you on board. Always great.
It always is. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, look, just on the front with Paul, yeah, mate, look, honestly, you are not going to get that confidence back until you let go of it and you stop living in the past there and just, look, forget it. It's happened. It's over. If you walk in with the confidence that you own the place, right, you will not, the people will not smell the fear anymore because the fear doesn't exist. You'll be getting better quotes. And I'm not just saying this, I've lived this, okay? When you actually shift your mindset on these things, it changes immediately. And like I always say, I can always make it about car racing. And I know in car racing, in rallying, when I changed my mindset, I changed everything, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's such a mental sort of thing. So when I decided that, and my attitude when it came to, and this is to do with money, like with sponsors, when we first started, we used to walk out like Oliver. Oh, please, may I have some more? And we were kind of felt like
you
beggars.
Didn't put your hat off and ask them
pop
for
some
money.
Coins in there, and away we go. But when I first started, we were poor. We had nothing, and we were struggling, right? So I used to have this attitude of, "Can you please help me?" And people were wonderful. We did get some sponsors and that.
It's meant to be a good one.
Yeah, but no, I threw that away, and then got into a new mindset. My new mindset was I used to walk in and pretty much go, hey, this is who we are. This is where we're going. If you want to jump on board the train, jump on board. If you don't, it's a bit of a shame you miss out, but that's life. And I'm telling you right now, people started throwing money at us, okay? And
Yep.
we were so much more financially successful and therefore sporting successful because we could afford the better bits.
Yep. The confidence, the certainty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
it's like,
changing that is what
have you
changed it.
been in Bali before?
Oh, yeah.
When they're bartering, and I'm really good at bartering.
Are
I'm
you?
like the bargain queen
Right.
on steroids, but I'm a bargain bandit more than anything
Right.
but so they like me. I mean, in Australia,
it's a bit fun.
it's a bit different, but in Bali, they think I'm a good challenge.
Right.
So, you usually say, well, how much is that? And whatever they say, it might be 200,000 rupiah.
Yep.
You've got to halve it.
Oh,
You've
easy.
always
Yeah.
got to halve it, right?
Yep.
And the fact is, if you are a pushover, you'll get pushed over.
You certainly will.
But on the other hand, if you wear that stance and you say, nah, 100,000, and then you might climb up, you got to be a little bit flexible.
Yeah,
There's a little bit of
yeah.
people always want to feel like they're winning.
Mhm.
So that's the other thing too with your clients. You've always got to help them feel like they're winning. And so, okay, yeah, I'll come up to 150,000.
Yep.
Oh, no, 200,000. I'm like, no, 150,000. Okay, bye. And suddenly you start you walk off like with that
Yep.
stance down the street, just joking. And they come running after
Of course
you.
they do. Yeah.
Oh,
got a lot of Peter. But it's true. And I think for Paul, if you walk in with that kind of attitude, mate, I think it is very contagious.
It is.
And I think it'll do wonders for you. Okay, we'll jump to our next question. This is from Rebecca. Rebecca is all the way from New Zealand. Hello to our New Zealand cousins. Kazai. I don't know how that works.
Kazai.
I
Kazua.
just came up with that.
Cousins.
Never mind. Now, this is great because this is a coach. So I'm a coach trying to grow my online business, but I'm struggling with fear of judgment, and there is a sea full of other coaches. Am I lacking confidence in knowing how to track my ideal client? Do you have any tips on overcoming these fears and helping me get clients on board? I had no problem working in bricks and mortar as I have a diploma in counselling. There you go.
Yeah, I totally get that. That just sounds like me of the past. So you could be an avatar, actually, because when I was in bricks and mortar, I thought it was very, very normal to be back to back with clients.
Right.
Mainly because you have a title, a hypnotherapist or whatever you're doing, and people like the real deal, up close, personal stuff. And so I just thought it was normal. You don't know what you don't know. So I was running a business where I was seeing so many clients a day. And I'm not saying this to make you feel awful because there's a flip story here. So there's always a good flip story. But, what would happen is I'd walk out at the end of the day and forget what day it was. I'd be in this vortex and I'd been timeline therapizing all these people and doing all these weird and wonderful things. And I'd be floating. I would not be energetically, declined at all. Okay. Now, this was the rude shock. You know how you hear rags to riches and all that? This is where you go riches to rags.
Okay.
So, what had actually happened is I got all cocky or I just didn't know any different. I thought that it was just normal to be busy. Right. Then I entered into the online space.
Right.
And the cricket show was pretty quick. When you hear crickets, it's pretty quiet out there. Uh-huh. I get you. And then you're in a sea full of, I don't know about coaches, I'd call them sharks. I mean, there's a lot of noise out there in social media.
It's a different world.
So, really you get so many people trying to sell you things as well, like come on board. And what I find in my industry is that I'm dealing with a lot of coaches, healers, and, shamans and really magical people. Right. And they're very passionate about what they do. They want to help people and they can, and they're brilliant. And I know that if I put 5 people in front of them, they would be able to change their life, hands down. Subconscious mind, they'll do it.
Right.
Here's the thing. You get these other people out there, and I'm not saying anything negative about them, but they're selling, sales, marketing, business branding, all this jazz.
Sure.
And they're charging like wounded bulls. I'm not even joking. Okay. So it's nothing to pay $30,000 to go into a program. And then people get what I find is they get really disgruntled, really disappointed because they come out and they think, well, how come I didn't make my money back? Why isn't this working? And the fact is that if you're going into someone else's program, you cannot be them. You've got to be you. And this is where the genius zone comes in.
Okay.
So there'll actually be the genius zone here mentioned. So the biggest element is to look at yourself, because most people that go into the coaching industry, they go in with a passion because they come from, a background. Like I had a terrible background of abuse and anxiety and self-doubt and all that stuff. So for me to change that was so amazing. But you've got to really remember where you've come from.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how far you go in life. Remember where you've come from. So, Rebecca, what I would say is write a letter to yourself and talk about the old you, but put it into third party. So, you're talking about her and you're describing her. So if she was in an abusive relationship, or if she was going through this terrible drama in her life with health problems or whatever it was, write all about it. Talk about her emotions. Like, what was she feeling? There's no point going, I'm a confidence coach. Everyone's a confidence coach. Oh, I'm an anxiety coach. Well, most of them are anxiety coaches as well. You've got to literally describe it. So you're describing yourself, but guess what? There's something very magical that happens, because this is like my podcasting that happens when they hear the coach and what they're talking about. Like, I don't know whether there was on Sunday's radio show, but there was a woman who had started off living on the streets, and she made a lot of money, through all that stuff. So for her to be appealing to that person and then going on the straight and narrow, getting herself back on track and being so amazing, that client's going to go, I want what she's having.
Yeah.
What is she doing?
Yeah.
What is it about? How do I do that? That's what you've got to do. So the operative word here is transparency. Go back, describe yourself, talk about, you don't have to say, oh, I did this, I did that. You can leave the I out of it. You can say, are you struggling in this way of life? Now, what this is going to do, apart from really authentically reaching out to your client, it's going to put you into a position where you are iconic. You can become the icon in your field.
Okay.
And the genius zone comes into it. So look, it's not about where you've come from. You've got to recognize where you come from, because that's where your clients are. What you've got to look at is where you want to go to. And then you've got to go through the why. Remember the why stuff, Aaron?
I certainly do.
And the why stuff is, well, you want to be a successful coach on steroids and you want to make a lot of money perhaps. No, we know that it's not about the money.
It's really, that's
it's
the thing.
not.
No,
it is
exactly.
so
We
not.
all get, like, the shiny stuff sort of distracts people on this one, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Big time. I mean, you get into these sorts of spaces because of you want to make a change. You want to make, you want to try and help people. And I'm speaking for myself here, but okay, I don't want people to go through experiences I've gone through.
Yeah.
So that's why I do what I do, right? Because I know how much it hurt. So I don't want others to go through it. So, and a lot of people go into professions that cater for that. They're kind of, yeah, we just,
because you've got your avatars that'll be like that, freedom of speech.
Oh, absolutely.
People that haven't been heard, people that have been abused, people that have had the carpet pulled from under their feet, right?
Yeah.
And you're their man.
Well, you don't even need to, it's just a case, if you can see it in others, it helps you live through what you're going through, right? And if you can pick up a little bit of positivity here or there, it's I mean, ultimately it's up to you, right? You've got to make the changes in your life, right? But like a problem shared is a problem halved. And if you've got somebody you can identify in, it just makes life so much easier to go through that
really
path.
Does.
And with Rebecca, I say, I mean, I would definitely just give her this really strong sort of advice. Okay. The old saying of it takes at least 20 years to become an overnight success. Just keep going. It is so important. I'm a big believer in build it and they will come, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you see a need out there, just build it and practice and focus on the quality of your work and getting it out there.
Yeah.
It's no good if it sits at home. Get it out there.
You're in the trenches right now, girl, and you've just got to accept it. You've got to accept when you're in the trenches. So you're planting your seeds. So just keep on watering it every single day.
Every single day.
And be consistent. I always say 2 things to my community, and that is consistency is queen, content is king.
There you go. Beautiful. Love it. All right. Now, may I pinch the mouse for just a moment? Because all these lovely comments coming up, I may as well pop them on the screen there. Now, we've got a comment there from Trish. Hey, Trish, look at that. Now, how true is that? Basically lines up exactly what we're just talking about. Stay true to yourself and your tribe will find you. Absolutely, 1,000% spot on. Okay, we'll go through these comments. I know we've mentioned a couple of them, but hello very much to Anita. Thank you for that lovely comment. And also, there we go, going up there. Lovely comment from Mel as well. Now, maybe I can see it. Now, to be now, is it a theta state?
Yeah, I know what Mel's talking
So
about.
I don't.
Yeah,
So
Mel's done this stuff. Keep asking.
Okay, keep asking. All right. So I'd love to know more about that. So it's called a theta state. Is that what it's called?
Theta state. THETA.
Okay, there we go.
So you've got the beta state, the theta state, the gamma state.
Of course.
And and I remember you talking about this because I've met this lady and she knows both of us.
Yeah, no,
but it's like such a small world.
I love it.
And
awesome person, this one.
Yeah. So is Mel actually saying that theta state is that brilliant state for manifestation?
Is a brilliant state for manifestation.
Yes.
So it's
well,
brilliant
she's right.
To be in to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for that.
Can I just add to that, because that's such a good point, Aaron?
Yes.
You know, the best time to be in that state, because you're not in gamma when you're asleep.
Okay.
And I'm not going to go on about that because it's a bit technical. But when you first wake up in the morning, it's very important because you're very impressionable. So don't pick up your phone and start scrolling or, you know, do what I do. You know, sometimes you're sort of reaching for the adrenaline and, you know, torturing yourself and then regretting that you did that. You know, use that time of the morning to be saying what you want, to be giving gratitude, to be looking at what is everything that I'm, grateful for, and what is one thing that I want to achieve today.
Okay. And I like that. One goal for the day. You know, don't set yourself a big shopping list, right?
That's right.
Because one thing is achievable. Right? Yeah. Otherwise, especially if you're like some people we know who might be a bit of an overthinker, when you've got a long list, you tend to really complicate that. So thank you very much for that. Everybody. Thanks, Mel, for that particular message on that one. As the more messages come through. And as I say, the other ones that we can't see today, we'll see during the week and we'll pop those up and have a chat about those. Let's get to the next question. So, okay, we've got a question here from Mark. Mark's from Brizzy. This is a problem.
Do you want me to read it?
Questions for me. Yeah, maybe. Hang on. Yes, if you could read this one.
Okay.
Look good. Yeah, would you like mine?
Yeah, I'll give it back, I promise. Okay, here we go. So Mark's question from Brisbane. This is for you, Aaron. I've been following your broadcast and I know a bit about your experience with losing your kids to a difficult partner. I'm in a similar spot. My ex has alienated my kids against me and they do not talk to me or see me anymore. She also falsely accused me of a crime I did not do, which I would prefer not to mention, but I did end up in jail for 7 days. Whoa, 7 days in jail when you're innocent.
Unbelievable.
The anger, this is the part where he is really, because I did look over these questions. The anger and grief that I'm experiencing is overwhelming and I'm struggling to see any way forward. You can understand that, right?
Yeah, totally.
I'm imagining that for you, Mark, this is probably pretty fresh. It sounds like it is anyways. And how did you cope and what steps can I take that you can help me with to help me find my peace again? I really hope you can help me. I listen to your show a lot and love the work you are doing.
Well, very much appreciated, mate. Thank you for that. I'll start by saying I'm going to start with maybe a little bit of facts that needs to be heard, okay? I get messages like that at least 10 a week.
You're used to it.
Right? And no.
You're not?
No.
You never get used to it.
No, you don't ever get used to it. And it hurts every time.
I get
what
that.
upsets me about it is, you know what? They're almost exactly the same because the fake VROs, the fake accusations, right? The time that people have to spend away from their kids. It's the same story with the names changed. Now,
Incredible.
we just know how false all of this is in almost all circumstances. I'm not saying there's not bad guys out there by any stretch of imagination. Of course there is. And domestic violence is absolutely wrong no matter who's doing it, male or female. But it's like, and I'm going to, trust me, Mark, I'm going to get to your question, mate. I just want to lay a couple of things down. And I'm still upset by this because I'm driving along and in the last week and a half, there's been a increase on all of these public buildings and all these billboards and that about coercive control being domestic violence. There's also ads coming on TV, on YouTube, all over the place. Okay. And in every single one of these, every single ad, okay, they're talking about coercive control, okay, being a form of domestic violence. So they're trying to bring that forward as being another reason basically to, destroy families. All right.
It's a bit like manipulation then.
It's 100% manipulation.
Is that like narcissism?
Well, look, narcissism is very overused. This is quite frankly, this is the government trying to break up families. Okay. This is what this is, right? And there's an absolute huge range of reasons for that, mainly economic. Okay. It is so much better for the government financially to break up families. You've all of a sudden got 2 sets of car payments. You've got 2 houses to pay for, 2 power bills, 2 water bills. Okay, the costs go up and up. It is in government's interest, and this is what they've been doing since they actually started this in 1972, to destroy the nuclear family for the financial betterhood of others. It's disgusting.
It is.
It is. Okay, so the family is the bedrock of the world. Now, the coercive control thing that I just talked about, why this upsets me so much, and actually it becomes anger, is because in each one of they want to paint the man as the contributing factor. All right, here's a bit of sad reality for you. In cases of coercive control, do you know that, okay, the gender of the person who creates coercive control more than in any situation it's over 80% female.
I can imagine that.
So over 80% of female coercive of domestic violence that is coercive control is female. But in every single one of the advertisements, every single one, the man or the boy is the perpetrator. That's just a lie. It's just an outright lie, manipulation. Again, it comes down to financial reasons. Basically, by taking the father out of the house, who's in a traditional sense the breadwinner, again, it's better for the child support. Yeah, that's how it works. Okay, it literally this is a money-making scheme. I can't be any more real about it. Now, all of this, knowing this, probably makes Mark's life a bit harder. Okay, because Mark is probably thinking, well, how do I fight the machine? Yeah. This is how you fight the machine, mate. You're honest about it. Okay, you're honest with yourself. You're honest about what's going on, and you actually have to play, unfortunately, the game by the rules that have been set out. Okay, so you are going to be lied about. You are going to be manipulated. You are going to have your reputation destroyed. All of these things. Now, the thing that I noticed you said about the fact that you felt, I believe I saw him mention that he's struggling with the anger and frustration. For paraphrasing,
I can't blame him. Yeah,
as a father. Now, the word anger, a lot of people jump on that and I think that's going to be a very bad thing. Okay, anger. There's a reason why you're angry because as a father, you are born and you are born and bred a protector. Okay. Yeah. And when you can't protect the people you love most in the world, that being your kids, right? The being the protector, when that's taken away, it does make you angry. It does make you frustrated because you can't protect the people you love most in the world because this system is designed to do it. So lots of things. Here's what you need to do. Okay. In a practical sense, record everything. Record everything. Never have a conversation with your ex-partner ever, ever, ever again that is not via text or email. No exceptions, no ifs or buts.
Oh, so you mean write it all down and document it. You don't mean actually click a video.
Oh, I'm still going. Trust me.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Okay.
If you don't do these things, right, okay, then you've got no chance. And I'll be very, very straight with you. Like I've said this before. If I hadn't had video that proves that my ex-wife deliberately went out of her way to create an entrapment video of me, if I didn't have video of her faking the video, I'd be in prison right now.
Wow.
That's real.
And
right?
you really would think that if a good justice system
There is
saw
no.
but that's you'd think if it was the case. I know that it's not.
But it's not. But it's not a justice
you know, if
system.
they saw that she was being such a, you know, she was being the monster,
Mm-hmm.
surely that would, you know, they'd be starting to say okay and put doubts about her. I mean, it's just
so
ridiculous.
what happens? Like everybody has. So first, it's not a justice system; it's a legal system, right? So it's never ever about justice here. It is about money. It's all about money. The whole thing is money and power. Okay. So, okay, in the case of, I mean, there's just so many different places you can go. So to give you that example, right, the video of my ex-wife creating fake evidence that caused me to be arrested, right, on a Sunday and dragged into the
So
lockup.
you've had the same thing.
Oh, but yeah.
So there you go. There you go,
right?
Mark. You're not alone.
Absolutely, mate. You're so not alone, right? Okay. And all the process that went through it. Now, guess what? When that got to court, you think, okay, court looks at your side, their side, looks at it, weighs it all up. No, the court decided before the trial started that they actually refused to use my evidence, right? Was not even allowed in the trial.
A bit like the Trump and Harris campaign where they only show what they want to show.
That's how it happens. So they actually, clear and decisive evidence that proves that in my case, my ex-wife is a genuine sociopath that genuinely sets people up to be arrested, genuinely is an abuser, like, you know, that she did this to her former partner who eventually she pushed to suicide. He killed himself, right?
Oh, dear.
These are very serious things.
Yeah,
this happens to so many people.
Yes.
Current stats right now, current stats are 47 to 49 fathers per week kill themselves due to parental alienation.
That's just shocking.
7 a day, right? So this is a very real problem. But when you've got court systems and the whole thing set up to do that, you really, I mean, it's when your evidence is not seen, it is disregarded and then won't allow it in. It just shows you the level of corruption here. So don't ever think you're going to court. So several bits of advice. Do everything possible to keep everything out of court. Court is the worst scenario for a man, full stop, right? The other thing is record everything. And back to your point was, so if there is any interactions, yes, video record everything. I had a police officer who literally told me to go and buy a body cam because he was a good cop and said, mate, this woman is determined to get you. Get yourself a body cam, right? Wear it everywhere you go. So I can't live like that. He said, well, you're going to have to, right? Because, you know, she's determined.
Yeah.
Right?
Bit like the insurers going around and spying on all the people that are claiming money and they're hiding behind trees. And
spot on. This is just what this is like.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, every time, so if you are lucky enough to see your kids at handover, right, you're going to have to record it, okay?
Yeah. It's sad. I mean, it is incredibly sad. But, you know, Aaron, I feel if I was looking from the outside in and I was seeing what your secret really is, I believe it's how you've changed your pain to power. And you've heard me talking about this. So, you know, if you look at referring here to the Bible, but the book of Job, I mean, you know, when you hear that saying it's too good to be true, this is like too bad to be true. Like, can this even be serious? Because it's like they're on a roll. There's one thing after another. And this is what you have to do. You have to break that state.
You've got to. Now, this message that Trish has put up there, and the government will be exempt from their disinformation bill, and they are the creators of lies. 100% correct, Trish. You are spot on. And I actually said this just last week, and I mean it, bottom of my heart. Look, this bill that they were talking about here is literally to get rid of things like Edge Radio Australia. We are in their sights, right?
Ooh, you're making a dent in society, Aaron.
Exactly. Now, okay, I will give you an idea of why things are so different. We now have an FM license, and we'll be going FM very shortly. Do you know we have to run 2 stations? Do you know we will have to run 2 stations?
You're joking. So I come in twice a week now instead of once?
Exactly. Bad time to tell you, right? I've just doubled your workload. No, here's the problem. Right. Here is the reality. What we're talking about today, do you know that we can't run on FM? Because that will break the broadcasting standards, right? You are pushing, and this is in their eyes, you're pushing medical disinformation. right?
Yeah, because it's not considered medical.
Well, that's one
Totally
side, exactly
know
right.
that.
So we
Yeah.
cannot put this on FM.
Yeah.
So FM
Is
has,
that right?
yeah. So our FM station will be basically, quite frankly, be some cool music, lots of WA music. We're really going to go hard on promoting, local bands and performers. Really love that. But it will pretty much an advert to say, hey, if you want to listen to our great stories, go to our YouTube or this page or whatever.
Are you
Or of course,
serious?
go to our digital edgeradioaustralia.com. It's the only way it can be done.
I did not know that.
Nope.
And what about if you give a disclaimer? Like,
No, still
I
doesn't
mean, do you know they disproved NLP
matter. Right.
in university?
No, I didn't know.
And the funniest thing is that I used to advertise in the community newspaper. This is a bit way back then,
Yep.
about 10 years ago. And anyway, one of the kids, my son's mate, came home and said, oh, you know how your mum does that NLP stuff?
Yep.
And Daniel goes, oh, yeah, yeah. And he says, oh, well, they were raising it up in uni today and disproving it because he was doing psychology. And they used me as an example. And I was like, yes, bring it on. I didn't mind, but they'd used my article to disprove it and say, and so, I mean, surely if we give a disclaimer, like, the wealth show, when you do the wealth by design and all that, they do a disclaimer. I mean, surely we can do that here.
Nope. And that I want to tell people that
That's
so
crazy.
that people understand that when you are listening to FM radio, which I loved for many years and, worked in and all of those sorts of things, and, great passion for radio. Okay. But they've got subjects they're not allowed to talk about. They have got narratives that they are paid to push, which are not necessarily very true most of the time. It is not what it used to be, right? And it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. And I mean, I often have a bit of a giggle with good old Gary Shannon about this because, he's
I love his humour.
Oh, look, great sense of humour. And, the king of Perth radio for so long and forever as far as I'm concerned. But, Gary couldn't be on radio and couldn't be Gary Shannon anymore. Right, because everything would be considered to be inappropriate.
But the best of them are like that, aren't they?
That's exactly right. So that's why we run the way we run. So we run as a digital license. We run and we can talk about the things that are important to us and to other people. We can give a voice to everyday people, right? All the things that we can't do on FM.
But you're a threat. That's why.
Oh, look, and this is the thing. And I know, look, this bill will fall over, okay? And if it does go through, and it might. But why so it'll fall over is because it will definitely be repealed in the next government, right? Because of the deals being done behind the scenes. I can't explain it all, but
I totally get you. It's all politics, isn't it?
I know a few people.
And I hear, Aaron, and how this kind of, makes an inroad to you, Mark. And I can say as that, outside point of view, when you are a threat, and obviously you are a threat, and honestly, on the weekend, we had a relationships coach and she was talking about how, that parent weaponizes through the kids. And, they do all this psychological rubbish. And another one they do is they'll do everything to put that person's reputation down. So if one party is out there just trying to live their life and that person is weaponizing it. But like I said, the book of Job, you cannot imagine how much stuff, he came up with and, what happened to him. And look at you, Aaron. All I can say is you've got a bright future. You're making a big dent in society. And this is, you've got to admit it, though, this is your zone of genius.
Look, it's not where I thought I would end up. But I love what I do. I'm very passionate about what I do. Look, okay. It is a privilege that Mark would ask this, okay? It is a privilege because you know what, brother, I have been there, okay, and I understand and everything you've written there. And yes, I'm very, very lucky that I've ended up in this position where I can actually help people. It makes a big difference to my life. It gives me meaning. It stops my pain. So I replace that pain with something else. So my advice is going to be manyfold. I've given you all the negatives before. And I even noticed that my voice changed when I started talking about this because there's so much passion.
But there is passion. I can see that.
Yeah, about it. But, okay, look, here's the thing, mate. Keep calm. Surround yourself with the best human beings you can find. This is probably the biggest thing you can do. Surround yourself with quality people. Get away from the negative Nancy's. Get away from the people who are going to drag you down, right? And I know how hard that is. You can't just go down the pub and go, hey, anybody positive? It's not like that. It doesn't work that way.
Anthony Robbins did that.
Oh, he probably could. Maybe he could get away with it. But you know what? Get out to social groups and things like that that are full of positive people. That will definitely help you. Realize that every single moment that you do get with your kids is the most precious thing you will ever receive. There's nothing of any more value in the world than time with your kids, because we've all, you know what? People have got all sorts of money and belongings and this and that. We've all got the same amount of time. And if you can make
time
that
is short.
Oh, so is. So if you can have the greatest quality of that time, do that. I would say, yeah, look, of those things about recording stuff, definitely do all of that. But the other thing is just literally be kind to yourself and know this. Some days are going to be unbelievably hard. You are going to have pain that you cannot fathom, right? And I have been right to the bloody edge, right?
No pun intended.
No pun that time, normally. But in this particular case, right, this particular pun is, you can just know this. When you get to that point, okay, and you think that life can't get any worse and you can't feel any more pain, guess what? It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You just have to ride it out. And sometimes you can just go, guess what? I'm not participating in the world today. I'm chilling out. Just give yourself that break.
Be fair to yourself.
Be fair to yourself. Be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Just know you can't do this. I know the really bad days are really bad, but you've got to look after you, because at the end of the day, when you get your kids back in your life, and one day, you know, God, hopefully, I'll see my kids one day, and I have to be the best Aaron. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not going to be great if I get my kids back after 8.5 years. It's been so far, right? 8.5.
And
years.
usually it happens, and there's a lot of resentment when the kids find out years later how many years they lost because one parent was so damn selfish that they decided to use them as a weapon. But the other thing is to let them lose their grip on you, because while you're in a situation, and I know you know this, Aaron, because I believe you've done this and you haven't mentioned it yet. But I know there was a time when, you know, all of those emotions and feelings, but what happens is it makes it worse. So you've got to let them get their claws out of you.
Yep.
And, you know, the way to do that is to be you got to let go. Have you forgived? Like I thought I heard you say at one stage that you forgave, because forgiveness is not about letting that other person on the hook. You know, I've talked to you about this before. Yeah. It's about letting the universe and God deal with them.
Well, okay. I think, yes, I have forgiven, right? Because I've thought to myself, okay, I now know, like now, the more I found out about you after the end of our relationship, and the fact that you had a screwed up childhood and you had these horrible things happen to you and all of that, it explains why you did those things. Like, you clearly lived a life of pain, and you felt, I guess, being, and this person is a sociopath, but being a sociopath, you felt that by putting that pain on others, it would somehow take it away from you. Well, it doesn't work that way.
Hurting people hurt people.
Damn straight.
And
so I forgive her, because I get it now, because I get why she did it.
Yeah.
When I was like, and look, probably Mark's probably thinking this, like, you know, he won't be full of forgiveness right now, because you're living in it. You're right in the center of all of that. But yeah, mate, look, just be kind to yourself and let her go, because and not her go, because forget that. Whoever moves on, and life's like that. But let the pain that she's left behind, let that go.
Yeah. And I'd like to use some persuasion engineering skills here. And I've had to do it a few times during the course of the week, and it hasn't been in my coaching practice, unfortunately. But, you know, if I can persuade you to be persuaded by letting her go for selfish reasons, in other words, forgiving her for your own good and actually being persuaded by my persuasion to release, let her go, so that she can be dealt with, because she will. Because while you're holding on and you're really like this, guess what? The frequency out there, the manifestation of the frequency goes, I don't need to handle this. They've got it. You've got this. So let it go. Let them have retribution and keep loving on your kids. Just keep loving, because I know a guy in this same position too, and he's the sweetest guy. And I just think, how on earth could that happen to, you know, someone like that? And I remember watching this interview, and it was with someone in politics, actually. It was a long, long time ago.
Mhm.
And what he said is he gave a thanks to his father. And he thanked his father because his mother did a runner when he was about 3 years old. And he said, during the course of time, over the years, my father never said one bad word against my mother. And how much justification. She never came back.
Do not teach your children to hate their own DNA. That's what I say. Okay, like by trashing the other parent constantly, all you're doing is saying to that child, "Hey, half of the person who made you is horrible, so half of you is horrible." That's so wrong, right? You know, I'm not saying that you should be, you know, laying out the flowers for this person and saying how wonderful they are, but you don't have to sit there and say horrible and tear them apart. That's when you do that. That's your shortcomings. It's not theirs. Yeah,
Love
you're
that.
just good old fashioned projection. You know, that's what you're doing.
I don't know. I reckon we're going to have to do a challenge where we actually quit the show in 45 minutes. We've banged
we can't
on
do
4.
it. We failed miserably again. No, but I really appreciate you trying. There we go. Thanks for being part of today's show. We will, we'll basically.
We'll bring the next question next week, guys.
Yeah,
So
really
stand by, stay tuned.
Yes, thank you for that. Thank you for being part of the Genius Zone. It's Edge Radio Australia.
Thank you for joining us on another empowering episode of our show, where we have explored through this various topic, along with all the exciting new topics that we bring every week to enhance your personal mastery of excellence. Now, I'd love you to do me a favor. In fact, be part of the Legacy 1 million that I have in the vision for 2028. If you know someone who really would benefit from this recording, from this episode, please share it with them. And when you subscribe, you get notified every week of our episode as soon as it drops. So let's do that legacy thing. Let's share, let's care, let's enrich. And I look forward to bringing you another week of the most enriching content. So until next time, stay inspired, stay awesome, and keep on mastering your excellence.